Hey guys, it's Jenny Silver. We're doing California EDD live Q&A. I'm a little late. I'm a little bit late. I still have coronavirus. It's still there. It's been there for like, what? It's been like 3 weeks, 2 weeks. I don't even know. But we have not left the house in a very long time. It's still there. I had like a weird coughing moment right at 7 o'clock. So it took me a minute to go live. So we'll see how long I can hold out. First off, before we get into it, I want to talk to you guys at the very start of this video so that you guys watching this on the replay hear this right away. I want to make sure that you know that if you turned in PUA work history verification documents and they were denied, rejected, disqualified, I want you to, number one, call into the EDD right away. If you can't get through, you can use Claimer. Hattie can drop the link, but call into the actual EDD first, not your representative, but call EDD, ask to speak to a tier 2 representative, tell them what's going on, tell them that your documentation has been disqualified and you believe it to be an error. Ask them if there is anything that they can do over the phone to take a second look at it, or if you can submit more documents. In many cases, documents that should have been approved are being denied by fault of the EDD. And when people call in, they are able to actually fix the disqualification over the phone. Now, that's not going to be true for everyone, but it is worth calling in and asking if there's anything that you can do over the phone, if they can look it over again, if you can submit additional documentations. Because if it's a quick fix like that, as opposed to going through the appeals process, then you want to try that route first. Second, if they are not able to help you over the phone and you have tried 2 times, then you will want to submit the appeal paperwork along with additional documentation along with that appeal form and enter into that process at that point in time. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get into the questions. Why am I looking at it on my phone? I don't know. I'm just out of practice. Okay, let me scroll up here. All right, at, I don't know what timestamp, Eric. Eric says, hello, Jenny. Are all states being as stringent as California on PUA proof? Can we start a petition to waive it? It is an election year. The EDD's incompetence is hurting people in need. Okay, so the documentation that's being required right now is not just the state of California. It is nationwide. This is due to a piece of legislation that was included in the December of last year's stimulus bill. When we had a stimulus bill back December 27th, I believe, of last year, it was voted to extend pandemic unemployment benefits. Along with that extension also came a requirement for verifying people's claims that they made regarding their work history. So if you were not an employee, they had to verify either your self-employment history or your plans to start self-employment, or your promise to start a job, etc. Whatever the reason was, basically the catch with having that stimulus be extended and that benefit for pandemic unemployment be extended is that they want documentation that people did what they said that they did so that someone couldn't fraudulently collect those benefits. So this is nationwide. Now, the problem is that they have to now collect these retroactive documents for people that have already finished up collecting on their claims. And many people aren't receiving the notifications. They don't even know to check. They don't even fully understand what they're being asked of. And a lot of people are confused because they're not receiving benefits anymore. So why would they continue to check their account and submit those documents? So the only way that this could be changed would be if Congress proposed a bill, signed it into law. Well, Congress doesn't sign it into law. Congress passes it, and then it is signed into law. So this is something that has to be done on the federal level. So no, the state of California cannot change this. EDD cannot change this. So don't ignore the requirement. If you want to let your assembly member know, your local representative, that would be the place that you would appeal to first, would be by calling your assembly member. So Hattie can drop the link on how to locate your assembly member in the chat box. That would be where you would start, by voicing your opinions there. Okay, this is like a weird setup, you guys, because my desk used to be here And now I have this giant desk way over here. So I'm reaching. Okay, Olga at 6:24. Hi, Jenny. You're very welcome. Thank you. I sent my documents 3 days after it said I couldn't get any more benefits. I never claim more benefits, and to send documents as proof, which I did. I don't quite understand that. Waiting for the letter, but I checked on UI and my weeks say disqualified. Okay, so your benefits have been disqualified. You sent in documents and you're not trying to get more benefits. I don't quite understand that first part, but I understand that you were required to send in documents. You sent those documents in, and now you haven't received a letter yet, but you see disqualified. For those of you that see December 27th and onward, which the first week is actually going to be the first week in the new year. So anything in that new year onward disqualified, it's because the EDD has rejected your documentation. Now, they have not sent you out your letter yet, so you're viewing that in UI Online kind of preliminarily before they sent you the actual notice. So what you're going to need to do is, for whatever reason, the EDD has rejected your documents. Hopefully you do, in fact, qualify to receive benefits. So do what I just specified at the beginning of this video. You're going to call in to EDD. You are going to ask to speak to a Tier 2 representative. And then you're going to let them know that you've been disqualified, that you recently sent in work verification documents, and that you want to try to see if the Tier 2 representative can take another look at your account over the phone and let you know why you were rejected and if you can send more documents. So give them a call and see if they're able to help you. If they're not able to help you, then the next step is going to be that you'll have to undergo the appeals process. So when you do actually receive that disqualification notice in the mail or in UI Online, a formal letter about it, it's going to come with an appeal form also. You're going to file the appeal, which is basically you arguing the decision with the EDD. You're going to send in additional documents that you have, and then you're going to have eventually well, for some, it is quickly approved. For others, they must have a hearing in front of the appeals judge and court system. Okay, Lauren at 6:48. Hi, Jenny. Have you heard of anything to help us for taxes? As I only took out some of this year and will owe a lot more. Times are very tough for me. Last year really helped with the first 10K waived. I'm sorry to hear you're having a hard time. I'm having a hard time. Bucket of tea. Okay. Yeah, it's a hard year for a lot of people to have to pay taxes on the unemployment benefits that you received. So I'm really sorry to tell you that no, right now, there is no legislation that has been passed. There's no legislation in the works. There's nothing proposed in terms of waiving any taxes owed on your unemployment benefits. So last year, in tax year 2020, they were currently, during tax time, negotiating the next stimulus bill to extend benefits, and worked into that bill was the tax relief for the first $10,200 worth of unemployment benefits. There is no stimulus bill in negotiation right now that would include anything surrounding extending unemployment or unemployment benefits. So no, unfortunately, there is not. Sorry, guys, got to plug this in. Unfortunately, there is not any tax relief in the works right now. Now, for those of you that do have a problem with paying your income taxes, I want you to know that you can take out an installment agreement, a payment plan with the IRS. And let me actually grab that link real quick because I didn't give it to Hattie. There it is. One sec. So this goes for whether you are a business or whether you are an individual. If you cannot pay your taxes, you can request a payment plan, and it lessens the amount of fees that are accrued on those owed taxes. So don't just ignore them. Actually apply for a payment plan, an installment agreement, because it's going to lessen the amount of interest and penalties that are applied. Okay. Here's Michael. Hi, Michael. Hi, Jenny. Hope everything is well with you and the family. I reviewed my 1099-G on Monday. I'm preparing my tax paperwork for my appointment at the beginning of February. Tax season is here. It is. I'm glad you have that in order. Thanks for stopping by, too. Okay, Scotty. Hi, Scotty. Thank you. Okay, Olga. says, Ginny, I got a letter 3 days after I sent documents. It says determination. Your appeal, not to appeal, not certain if it is the letter after documents sent, because it also says you can't get PUA. Okay, so Olga, I think I already, no, you cannot, can I send, no, you cannot send me a picture of the letter. This is the only place where I discuss and I don't take personal documents from anyone. So if you says you can't get PUA benefits, I'm not sure why they added that additional message on there. But if you were disqualified due to your documentation, you need to call in, ask to speak to a tier 2 representative, ask them why your documents were denied, and then ask them if they can take a second look, maybe explain your documents to them, or ask if you can submit more. If you're not able to do that, and do it fast, because there's a 30-day limit on which you must appeal by, then you're going to file the appeal. But I would try that first, as long as you do it in a timely way. Okay, I already did that one. I did that one. Hi, Scotty. Hello, JC. Okay, got that one. What does the qualified letter look like? I have it. Let me locate. Oh, I don't have it in this folder. I have it in a video. If you look on my channel homepage and you look at all of the PUA work history documentation videos, just do a search in the search bar, my channel home, then you'll see all of the PUA documentation videos. There's one video in that set that shows the approval letter. So look through those videos and you'll be able to see what it looks like. But it's basically just a very simple letter. It just states that there is nothing else needed from you at this time. Okay, Toby at 7:07, still waiting for some updates on California COVID rent relief. You don't address this topic. I have addressed this topic. It's a matter of life and death. Toby, I have replied to your comments many times, and I have addressed this topic. I did a Q&A with someone, one of the higher ups in the program, and I've provided like walkthroughs and step-by-steps, but there's very limited information in this program. Yes, it's a big problem. The program is very, I don't even know the words. Similarly to the EDD, it's overrun with people that need it. The funds were really slow to come in, and there's a lot of federal hoops that they have to jump through, in addition to the program just not being set up well because it's new. So I wish that I had more information to share with you. I reached out to my contacts over in that department last week, and I have not gotten any replies on things back yet. So unfortunately, I don't have anything new to share with you. I'm really sorry. Okay, Celeste at 7:09. I submitted my job offer affidavit on 1/3 and received an approved letter dated 1/10 that all information is good and accepted. Nothing more is needed. Okay, good. I'm really glad to hear that that was accepted for you and that you're all set. Sorry, guys. Okay, Drove. I haven't received anything from them except my 1099-G. I was on PUA. Am I going to receive anything? Okay, so are you going to receive anything? What are you talking about receiving? Are you talking about you have not been asked to send in work verification documents? Maybe that's what you're asking. Everyone on PUA should be asked for this, but if you applied for PUA after December 27th of last year, then you already may have had to provide it up front. They were a little wishy-washy with who had to provide that documentation up front after December 27th. Some were required to do it at time of application and others were not. So if you already provided it, you may not be asked to provide it a second time. So I think that's what you are asking for. Perhaps you already submitted the documentation and you're asking, will you receive a confirmation that you're good to go? Yes, you should receive a letter confirming or denying that your documents were or weren't satisfactory. Now, I am receiving reports from many viewers letting me know that they call into the EDD after having not received any confirmation, and they did send documents, and the EDD lets them know that yes, they were approved, and that they're not getting a letter. They should be sending out letters, and most are receiving a letter. However, I will tell you, that I was required to send in the same documentation because I collected PUA for a brief period of time in 2020. And I sent in my documentation on like the first day that notice came out because I made a video on it. And I still haven't heard back. And like the documentation I sent is all good to go. I have my Schedule Cs, I have a bookkeeper. So I haven't heard back either. Now I contacted my person that I speak to in the media department over at the EDD, and I said, "What? Like, do we still not have a time frame? Because many people submitted this back in November, they still haven't heard. Whereas some are submitting it right now and they're hearing back right away." And his response to me was that it's going to take a while. So that's unfortunately all that I know with regards to how long it could possibly take. Okay, I did that one. I'm going to get Jason next. Let me just double check this. Okay. Jason says, I registered my account December 5th. I just now got proof of wages sent last weekend. I asked for conditional payments last week. Still haven't gotten anything in my account. Okay, so if you are just now starting your benefits, you're not eligible for conditional payments. Conditional payments apply to an account that has, number one, received an unemployment payout previously. So it's not a new account. And number two, has been stuck in pending for 3 weeks or longer. You are a new account, so you are not going to be able to receive conditional payments. Why? Because during the first up to 3 weeks, the EDD approves your account. And then for the 3 weeks, you are going to be in what's called UISD review, which is when the EDD performs additional fraud checks on your account. Now, the EDD is going to look at your account, send it out to a third-party company called Thomson Reuters, who helps them do some of the additional fraud checks. During that point in time, there's nothing you can do. You cannot speed up the process, unfortunately. Now, you applied and were approved December 5th, but you just got proof of wages sent last weekend. So you're still in the process of being approved. So I would anticipate 3 weeks after you sent in that documentation to actually have your account moved to paid. Now, once you see that your account has moved to paid, you are going to then wait up to 2 weeks, 10 business days for Bank of America to disperse your card to you if you have never had a card before. That was long-winded. I drink my bucket of tea. Spill it on myself and cough with coronavirus. Okay, scrolling down. Joe Wilson. I'm having problems getting temporary disability because I was on unemployment for 2020. Any suggestions? I am not knowledgeable in disability, so unfortunately I cannot help you with that. Now, if you are trying to apply for disability, I'm not sure the requirements for that. I am guessing that you would have needed to have a work history prior to claiming those disabled benefits. I'm guessing because your employer would have to pay into it just like unemployment. If all you received was unemployment before that, then you did not have an employer paying into the system. So I believe that would be why. But once again, disability is not my thing that I inform on my channel. So I'm sorry, I can't help you further. Sherry, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, Madrick, thank you. Hello, KJ. Hello, Magic. Okay, Michael Simmons. I live on Social Security. How does this factor in? Michael, what are you trying to ask specifically? Can you ask me a more detailed question so that I can try to help you? Okay, Peace and Namaste says, thank you for helping us. You're very welcome. I'm sorry it's so stressful. You guys, I've got like a static issue that's bothering me. I'm going to just comb my hair for you. Okay, did that one. Miguel Gonzalez. Hi, Jenny. I just wanted to thank you again for what you've done to help us throughout the past few years. You're very welcome. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And you guys have helped my family as well. As you guys know, I have this, I'm trying to like talk to you guys and I have static tickling me. As you guys know, I collected unemployment. My business went under because my primary business was in weddings. I'm a wedding photographer, and weddings closed for like 2 years. And it was really like everything shut down for that. And so I lost my entire calendar too. And so I was unemployed and I was collecting. And because I was able to help you guys with this information, you guys were able to help me grow my channel, and that helped me completely pivot my business during the pandemic. So I'm grateful to you guys as well. Okay. Let's see. Laurel at 7:14, backdated in September, account backdated in October. Income verified. 2 weeks ago, they released weeks to certify, and then they marked them not paid after months of waiting. I'm really sorry to hear that. That's very frustrating. So I can't tell you why they say not paid. There could be a couple guesses. Number one would be if backdating your claim changed the claim so much that it then used up all of your benefits to a certain point, and it kind of changed things. So, for example, if your traditional UI, once you use up all those benefits, they then have to move you onto a PEUC extension and then move you onto a Fed Ed extension, which has since expired in September. But if you're talking about retroactive benefits that were backdated, sometimes when it's a disjointed claim like that with several different pieces, they have to do a lot of weird things to your account. They have to move the whole claim backwards. And then some of those weeks that would have been paid under regular UI now have to be switched into a different category and paid under PEUC or Fed Ed. So sometimes things like that happen when you backdate, but the only way you're going to figure out why is going to be to call into EDD. You may need to ask to speak to a tier 2 representative, and then they will be able to tell you why. Now, if you cannot get through to EDD, because I know that it's hard, you can use Claimer if you want to. Hattie can drop the link in the chat box for Claimer. Claimer is a third-party system. You have to pay it, so you might not want to do that, but my link does save you $5 and it gets you through. Or if you don't want to do that, you want to go the free route, then you can contact your assembly member, and Hattie can drop the link on how to locate your assembly member in the chat box as well. Okay. Debbie Hall. Hi, Debbie. Debbie says, oh my gosh, what are you doing here and live? Thank you. Yeah, I don't remember if I don't think I went live last week because I was really sick the last couple weeks. And then before that, it's been off and on. My lives have been a little bit sketchy because my life is kind of all over the place. Thank you. I have a new looking office. I moved things around. I took out all my broken furniture. I was sitting at a broken desk that had the leg popped off of it and the leg was propped up underneath it. I was sitting in a broken chair and I was like filming all my videos in all this broken furniture. So I moved things around. So yes, it's different. Okay. Olga got a letter disqualified. It says appeal below, but no form attached. But I will call first. Yes, call first and then appeal if you need to. Okay. Bonnie. Hi, Bonnie. Bonnie says she won a copy of my book from Shelley's Millions. Oh, that's great. Thank you for creating. Thank you, Bonnie, for letting me know. Yeah, I wrote a children's book, but I wrote it like years ago when my son finished his second year of preschool. And then I've had it like a really weird copy of it sitting around, but I decided to get it illustrated recently. And then I published it in November. The reason why I chose to publish it now is because I'm making a video on how to self-publish yourself and how to get your book on Barnes & Noble, Target, Amazon, etc. So Shelley's Millions gave away a copy of my book. So thank you. Okay. Debbie Hall got 1099G today. Yes, 1099G. If you need to locate 1099G, let me show this on screen real quick. I have to find it first. So if you need your 1099G, what you're going to do is you are going to, there it is. You're going to go into UI Online. And then once you go into UI Online, this red arrow right here, you're going to click on the Payments tab. And then from the Payments tab, that's not it. From the Payments tab, you are then going to be taken to the spot where you can locate at the very top, there's a section that says 1099, and there's a link, and you click on that link right there. And that's the one image that I can't find, of course. But UI Online, click on Payments at the top, and then click on 1099G. If you don't see your 1099G there yet, everyone who sends out 1099s has it until the end of January to send their 1099s to their contractors. Or in the case of a 1099G, it's not a contractor, it's just a recipient. Okay, that is my own comment. Michael Hill. Hold on, Michael. If I just send in my 2019 1040 in the Schedule C, what are the chances that the EDD will require more documents? It depends on what they asked you for. They're going to ask you for a specific year, but they actually give you a date range. Now, the EDD initially stated in their letter, send documents within this date range, and it's different for everyone because it's based on the start of your claim. Look on that letter, and let me add this to the stream. You're going to look on that letter, and then what you're going to see is you're going to see a date range right here. Okay, so it's highlighted in yellow right here. And this specific date range on this letter is 1/1/2019 through 2/2/2020. But what the EDD stated just last week is that they have slightly modified their instructions now. Now they state that if your unemployment claim started the same year that you're sending the tax return for, then they also need to see the year prior. So you are most likely your claim started in 2020. If you're sending 2019, then you should be good to go. It's a Schedule C, it's a tax return, so those are ironclad documents. Now, the EDD has been making mistakes in approving and disqualifying some of these tax returns, which should go through with no problem. So if it is denied, then definitely call into the EDD, ask to speak to a Tier 2 representative, and they should be able to fix that for you if you are denied. Bucket of tea. All right, Chris P. Hi, Jenny. I need to show proof of PUA documents, even though I had a UI claim with PEUC. Is it better to do retroactive tax return of the year that needs proof, or call the EDD about the situation? Okay, so some of you who received UI only and then received a PEUC extension are receiving this request that you must submit proof of work history documentation. And you're thinking, why? Because I didn't receive PUA. Many of you may have received a week to a month's worth of PUA without even knowing it, because when we had a lapse in PEUC extension, before the next stimulus bill was implemented into the computer systems, many of the customer service representatives applied a PUA claim as an extension for you guys. They may not have told you this. You may have called in to check on your account, or something may have happened where a customer service rep had to look at your account, and then they applied this. That's why you're receiving this request. Now you're going to send in your work history verification. So whatever work you did before your claim. So you can send in pay stubs, you can send in your tax return, you can send in any other documentation of the work that you did. Now it sounds like you did not file a tax return. And I'm assuming that is because you did not reach the income thresholds required in order to file a tax return. If that is true, then how were you employed? You're going to need to send proof of that employment. So send in pay stubs, send in a statement from your employer, signed, dated, with their business name and information on it. Do you have to retroactively file your tax return? Not if you're not required to file it. If you didn't actually meet the thresholds needed to file, then you should be fine sending in the other documentation. Okay, I did that one. Okay, Debbie Hall. Thank you. Okay, easy as 1, 2, 3. Hi, Jenny. Hope all is well. What is a 1099 miscellaneous? And is this 1099 miscellaneous okay to send in for proof? Yes. So at 1099, miscellaneous is what is given to independent contractors. For example, I have a lot of independent contractors that work for me. I hire them on for their unique service that they provide. They're not an employee of my company, such as like one of my remote assistants or one of my second shooters, etc. If I'm just hiring them for their specific services and they're not an employee under me, I'm not exactly telling them how to do their job, etc., then they are going to come and they're going to work for me under that agreement, under that contract. I'm then going to issue them a tax form at the end of January or sooner if they earned $600 or more from me. So I'm going to provide them with a copy of that tax form, and then I, as the business who contracted them, is also going to provide that tax form to the IRS also. So if you're an independent contractor, then you would have received a 1099 miscellaneous. That's a tax form telling you that you were paid a certain amount by a certain business or individual. So yes, that is documentation that is acceptable as PUA work history verification. EDD has confirmed with me that yes, you can send in that specific document, and they have updated it on their website that yes, they will accept that. So yes, send that in. Okay, let me just check down here, and then I will move on. Okay, I did that one. Okay, I already did that one. That one's a repeat. Karen, hi Karen. The same throat thing. Hi, Hall's breezers, cough drops. Thank you, Karen. I hope you're well. Jennifer at 722. Hi, Jenny. I have an interview in February with the EDD. In 2020, I had no other option but to stay with my children since the daycare closed because of COVID. Okay, I think that's the end. So you have an interview with the EDD. I'm not quite sure what you're asking. Maybe you're asking, are you qualified? So if your school closed and or daycare closed and you had to stay home with your children, you do qualify as long as that closure prevented you from working. So if you had a job and you had to leave that job due to that reason, then it qualifies you. If you had plans to start a job or self-employment and you had to stay home, then that qualifies you. So they're going to ask you, did you have plans to work or were you working and you had to leave your job? So that's the main thing, is that you were trying to work and then that got in the way. So you still qualify as long as it got in the way of your income. Okay, let's see. I was just asking about the work verification. Okay, on a question I answered earlier. Okay, can you tell us about your COVID battle? What is the real story with this variant? So I won't get into the real story. Just have my story. I'm vaccinated. You guys are like asking me every once in a while. I'm vaccinated, 2 doses of Pfizer. I did not get a booster. Not for any reason. I just didn't. And my 3-year-old brought it home from preschool. She was the only, so they had an exposure in her preschool. Her preschool is all outdoors. They don't go inside. And she's the only one that got it from that exposure because she has like no personal space boundaries. She brought it home and she breathes in the face. So my kids, Nora was down for 1 day. She had a really high fever. It was like over 103, is like 103.7 or something. It's the 80s station in the Bay Area. So she had a high fever for like 1 day, maybe a day and a half, and then she was completely fine. My vaccinated 7-year-old did not get it. Or if he did, it was not noticeable. My husband and I both got it, but I got it the most, and it's hanging in there on me. Okay, Sammy and company got a hold of EDD Woman today. She actually tried to help me download my 2019 taxes. She said, all I need is 2019 taxes. I started unemployment on 3/20. Should I send that tax year too? You need to provide the year prior to your unemployment claim. So if you started in 3/20, then yes, 2019. but it doesn't hurt to send in both. So send in 2019 and 2020 because more documentation, the better. But yes, 2019 should be all that you need. For those of you that don't have access to your tax return, you can download a transcript of it from irs.gov. If you go to irs.gov and you create an account, then you will be able to download a copy of your transcript right away from any tax year that has been submitted. So many people don't realize that, and they're scanning all their documents, or they're trying to uncover them from wherever they're hidden for a year. And what you can actually do is you can download it really quickly from irs.gov. Okay, next one. Magic 723. Any advice? My advice for cough: mix lemon and honey in the bottled water. I have my tea with honey and no lemon because I'm out. Okay. Martina K. Hello, Jenny. You know, my advice for cough is don't do a live stream where you talk for an hour and a half. Okay, Martina K. Hi, Jenny. It got the approval letter sent in per certified mail originally. Okay. Hi, Paul. Thank you. Okay, Madrick, thank you. Okay, scrolling down. I broke it. Count over 100 plus. Yeah, my live streams are small these days. They used to be like 800 people, you guys. At the peak of the chaos, they were like 800 people, and that was crazy. Especially for an introvert who never thought that I would be on YouTube in front of lots of people. Okay, let's see. I did that one. Kareem, thanks for this info. You're very welcome. Okay, lovely. How to upload documents, and will it be enough if I send in 2020 taxes and affidavit? I was previously cleaning houses, but they weren't my clients per se. Do I send in all my tax pages? Okay, so how do you upload your documents? Will it be enough if you send 2020 taxes and affidavit? You want to send the year that they're asking for, and you want to send the year prior to your claim. So you have to look on your own unique letter and see what date range they are asking for, and then make sure that you send in the year that is prior to your unemployment claim in addition to that, because a lot of the EDD specifics on things have been a little more fine-tuned in the last week. So how do you upload documents? I have a video on that on my channel homepage. So if you go to my channel homepage, you scroll down to the line that says important EDD info this month. It's the last video over on the right-hand side of that. And I show you, I think it's that one. If not, then it's in that bar somewhere. But I walk you through and show you how to upload them. You're going to go into UI Online, and it's going to give you a link at the very top of your screen that you need to upload documents. You're going to click that link that says you need to upload documents, and then it's going to take you to a DocuSign page with a letter that you have to read that confirms the dates that you need to provide. So that's where you see that. And then you are going to follow the prompts on there and upload your documents. Upload it as a single file PDF. So it should just be like one document that you upload. And that's it. Okay. Did that one. Okay. Paul Perez. Keep up the good work. You're awesome. People may like to pick on you a bit because you're lovely when you're mad. When I'm mad, but they should also know that you're doing this your own independent time. Thank you, Paul. Yeah, I don't mind people. I delete a lot of interesting comments, and sometimes I reply back to them for fun. I'll make a video one day compiling all of the strange things people have said to me. All right. Hi, Melrose Ellis. Okay, scrolling down. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate that. Martina, sent in to SoCal per certified mail. Got approved letter in 3 weeks. Good. I'm really glad that you got approved and you're all set. Madrick, thank you for your help for my unemployment benefits. You're very welcome. I'm glad it was helpful. All right, John at 728. My history continues to show disqualification to end. What do you think I should do? Okay, so if it's showing that you were disqualified, then you've sent in documents that have been rejected. You need to call into EDD, Hattie can post the link on Claimer, which can get you connected faster if you want to use that, but it's a paid service. But I do recommend calling the actual EDD first, not your assembly member to start with, because in many cases, claimants who call in and ask to speak to a tier 2 representative, so the higher level customer service reps, they are able to tell you why those documents were rejected. And in many cases, it's been done in error. If you did in fact send in like a tax return or something that did show proper proof of income, in many cases, the tier 2s are able to reverse that decision over the phone or send a link to your UI online dashboard where you can upload more documents. So it's worth calling into the EDD to try to get it fixed over the phone. If that doesn't work, then you should file the appeal, the additional document that was sent to you, and you have to file that appeal within 30 days of receiving the disqualification notice from the EDD. Along with that, you're going to send in any additional documents you have, and it will either be reversed based on what you send in, or if it was an error, or if your appeal doesn't immediately get it reversed, then you're going to have to go have a hearing with an appeals judge, and they will look at all of your information and they will help you with that, hopefully. Now, you also can contact your assembly member if you're having trouble getting through to the EDD, or to try to see if they can assist you as well. And Hattie can drop the link to contacting your assembly member, but I would recommend calling EDD directly first and then making sure that you file that appeal on time as your priorities. Okay, Sana at 7:28, will PUA come back? I cannot tell you what will happen in the future, but currently there are no plans, no talks of resuming PUA at this time. So right now, no, it is not coming back, but we'll have to see what happens as the world unfolds. Okay, because it's been very unpredictable the last couple of years. Okay, love always. Is there anything for people who couldn't find a job yet because of COVID? No, there is not any additional unemployment benefits at this time. What there is rental relief, California rental relief. Apply for it at housingiskey.com or .org. Hattie can drop the link. Hattie dropped the rent relief link. Apply for it, but plan on it taking a very long time for them to process your information and actually get you paid. Unfortunately, it's a very slow program, and people have been getting very frustrated with it. Additionally, you can apply for CalFresh, which is food aid. So you can apply for that as long as you're below a certain income restriction, which it sounds like you are. If you're not renting and you own your home, then you can apply for California mortgage relief, and Hattie can drop that link as well. That program just opened, and mortgage relief, what is it called? Your mortgage servicer must actually be on board with the program and must agree for you to be able to opt into it. So that's a flaw with that program. Okay, peace and namaste at 7:29. If you submit taxes to show past income, do you need to submit an affidavit to prove that same income too? No. So taxes or a government document, you submitted that to the IRS, it's been processed. No. An affidavit is secondary to that. So if you're sending in tax return, if there's something you feel like you need to explain, then yes, you can send in an affidavit. It won't hurt it, but it's not necessary, because taxes are kind of like the gold standard of what you want to send in ideally as work history documentation. Okay. Addy at 7:29. Hi, Jenny. I uploaded my taxes for 2019. Did not work at all in 2020. I have a cleaning business. I'm the sole proprietor. I also uploaded a notarized affidavit, but they rejected my documents. Okay, so if you uploaded, when did your claim start? You didn't work in 2020. You uploaded your taxes for the year before. You have a cleaning business, sole proprietor. You have taxes. You have self-employment income on there filed on a Schedule C, and you uploaded what I'm assuming is the year before your unemployment claim. If your unemployment claim started in 2019, they're going to want to see the year before that. So check your letter and see exactly what year they're asking you for. But it sounds like you sent everything in properly. So you are one of the many people that I have been kind of repeating the same thing for, that I really want to make sure people get, which is, if you sent in tax documents or something like that, that is a government document that's gone through that business license, etc., and you've been denied, call into the EDD. Most likely they can reverse it and fix it over the phone. So call in to EDD, and you're going to need to ask to talk to a tier 2 representative, and then explain over the phone that your documents were rejected and you believe it to be an error, and have them take a second look at it. Okay, no daycare. Okay, I already addressed your question earlier. Giant tea. It is a giant tea, which will give me an excuse to take a drink of it for my COVID-y throat. Okay, you guys, I really hope that, Shelly, are you in here? I don't know if Shelly's in here. Shelly and I are supposed to meet, and we were supposed to meet the week that I got sick, and then I had to cancel it and had to reschedule it. And I really hope that I pass my COVID test, you guys, in time. Okay, Sana, thank you. I appreciate that. 4 months ago, unemployment had me fill out a questionnaire about self-employment and said they were going to get back to me and never did. When I call, I get nowhere. What can I do? Okay, so they had you fill out a questionnaire about self-employment, so they're going to get back to you. What kind of questionnaire? Are you talking about you're applying for benefits for the first time? Are you talking about submitting work history proof, like you have to submit your tax return? They want to see that proof of that self-employment income? Or did they just need to collect more information from you, perhaps such as an interview with you, a phone interview? I'm not quite sure what you're asking. So Sana, you need to give me a little more information. Then I will try to look for your next comment in the chat box. Smart T at 7:32. Hi, I'm self-employed. I have invoices, signed work contracts, affidavit of self-employment, and DBA. Is this enough to send? Yes, it definitely is. I got my DBA in December 2020 after start of pandemic. Oh, but the year is going to matter. The year is going to matter. So self-employed, you have invoices, you have contracts, and a DBA. When did you start your unemployment claim, and what year is the EDD asking for? If they're asking you for 2019 documents, sending in that 2020 DBA is not going to suffice. Now, why don't you have a tax return? Maybe you didn't earn enough. If you earned over $400 in net self-employment income, you were required to file a tax return. So either you didn't earn that amount, so you didn't file taxes, or you just plain didn't file taxes, which is not good, or maybe you did file taxes. If you did file taxes, then send that in. Don't skip that. Send in your income taxes that has your Schedule C on it. Just send the whole tax return or just the Schedule C. But EDD does state that they will accept invoices and that they will accept contracts. So you should be fine with those. However, those are more likely to be rejected as opposed to a tax return, because a tax return has gone through the IRS, has gone through a government agency, whereas an invoice and a contract is your own document that you create. So yes, it should be approved, but if you have your tax return, then send that in. Okay, I need a drink of this. Josh Y says, Jenny, please let people know that Claimer is worth every dime. Get your assembly rep involved too. Calling reps at EDD can generate different snafus. Yes. So you guys hear me talk about Claimer a lot. And the link that I share gives you a discounted amount off of that. I like the company because they have helped thousands of my viewers get through, but it is a paid service, and that's not something that's accessible to everyone. So contacting your assembly member is the other thing that I talk about regularly. Hattie can drop the link in the chat box to both of these. Your assembly member, for those of you that don't know, is your local state representative. So you're going to call in or email them, go to their website, use the link here to locate who your assembly member is. In many cases, they have EDD information or a spot to click already on their website. Because the EDD has been such a mess, the assembly members have been kind of the liaisons between claimants and the EDD. So what they will do is they will collect your information from you, and then they will contact the EDD on your behalf. Each assembly member's office has an EDD liaison assigned to their office now. So they're able to work on your claim on your behalf with them, as opposed to you not being able to get through. Okay, scrolling down, which one? Faith Jones, how can I get the back payment for child tax credit and pandemic relief for myself? You would file your taxes. So if you're missing any of those payments for child tax credit or one of the stimulus payments, you get that by filing your taxes because those are tax credits. So if you didn't receive it up front, file your taxes, you'll receive it at that time. Pandemic relief for yourself. I'm not sure what type of pandemic relief you mean, but if you're referring to stimulus, that would be through your taxes. Okay. Paul Perez is going to take a shot of vodka for every sip you take from that giant tea. Well, you know, this is like a bucket of tea. I don't think that's going to be a good choice for you. Okay. Scrolling down. Oh, hold on. Scrolling back up as I lost my spot. There it is. Okay, my date range is from January 2019 through March 2020. Okay, so that DBA, they want to see documents before you started your claim. So if your claim started in 2020 and you're self-employed, I know they say that range, but they recently, about a week ago, and I shared this in a recent video, they changed it and they now specify that if you were self-employed and you started your claim 1 year, even if they included that year in the date range, they want you to send the year prior. So 2019 documents for you. Okay, did that? Terry G, who can I talk to at Housing is Key? I've been waiting over 8 months. Now my landlord filed eviction and Housing is Key isn't helping and now I'm at risk of eviction. Housing is Key is a big problem. There's no one that you can really talk to other than simply calling in the phone line and trying to get help from their customer service representatives. That obviously is not working for you, so I want you to contact your assembly member. Hattie's going to drop the link on how to locate them in the chat box. Don't skip this step. Contact them. Let them know the problems that you're having. In many cases, they might be able to do what they do with the EDD, where they will contact that department on your behalf and look into your claim. So contact your assembly member, please. Michael Hill, thank you very much for the information. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. Okay, Anasazo at 7:37. You guys, I'm like 20 minutes behind. And there's only 80 people here, but there's a lot of questions. Hello, my claim expired, and so I applied again when they said to do so. My claim says on extension, but I got denied 2 weeks, and I can't certify anymore. What do I do? Okay, so your claim expired. You applied again. Your claim says on extension, but so all extensions have come to an end. PEUC extension, FedEd extension, as well as PUA have all ended back in September. There are no additional extensions. So the only way you can receive unemployment benefits at this time is if you have reached the end of your benefit year, 12 months after your claim start date. If you have reached the end of that benefit year, then you can file a new regular unemployment claim. But in order to have that claim be approved, you must have worked within the last year, within the start of your claim and onward. So while you're collecting unemployment within the last year, you must have worked and earned at least $1,400 or more in your highest earning quarter. So no more extensions. That's the only way that you would qualify to receive new benefits. Okay, Fadi at 7:37. Hi, Jenny. Let's say someone sent their work history verification documents, but never got any notices whatsoever. Can they see if the documents are approved on the EDD portal, or do they have to call? So no, you cannot see. You can see if the EDD has disqualified you, but they have not yet sent your letter, then you can catch that a little bit early. If you go to the payments tab, you look at the transactions starting January of 2021 and onwards. If those have moved to disqualified, then that means that your documents were rejected and EDD just hasn't sent you your letter yet. But there's no way to check that you were approved until they actually send you out that letter. So many have still not received confirmation. You can call into the EDD and ask a representative to check for you. And in some cases, they may be able to tell you over the phone. I am receiving some reports of individuals who call in and the representatives are telling them that EDD is not sending out confirmations that you were approved, that they're just leaving it, which is not what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to send out confirmations. They have been sending out confirmations, but some are reporting that. So if you want peace of mind, you can call into EDD and check. But as of right now, there is currently no deadline, no time frame on when they will finish the process. Giant bucket of tea. Okay. Let's see. Scrolling down. Did that one. Add D at 7:38. I submitted my taxes for 2019, letters from clients, and even an affidavit, but my claim was disqualified and my documents were not enough. What can I do? Number one, call into the EDD. Ask to speak to a tier 2 representative, but I can't get through to the EDD. So you're going to use Claimer to call in if you are okay paying a third-party service, and it will redial the EDD and call you back. Makes it really easy. If you can't do that, then call the EDD repeatedly until you get through. Let them know that you sent in documents that you believe. What did you send in? Letters from clients and an affidavit. Oh, your taxes. You should be fine. Let them know that you sent in documentation that should have been approved and you believe it to be an error, and see if the tier 2 rep can fix it over the phone. If they can't, then try again and try a different tier 2 rep. If they can't, then next you're going to need to file that appeal that was attached to the rejection letter. That appeal must be filed within 30 days of them sending out that notice. So don't leave it to the last minute. Make sure you do it right away. Additionally, you can contact your local representative, your assembly member, and they can help to work as a liaison between you and the EDD. But I do recommend calling in personally and trying to get it done right away over the phone, because many have reported that they're able to get it reversed right away. Okay, I did that one. Let's see. Did that one. Paul Perez, how do I subscribe to your other page? I want to ask a question about 30% interest charged on UI overpayments. I think the 30% outdated before. I don't have another page. I mean, I have other pages, but I don't operate them. This is the only active YouTube page that I have. I want to ask a question about the 30% interest charged on UI overpayments. I think the 30% is outdated because before COVID-19, people never got tens of G's from UI. Okay, so no. So I recently did several, well, it was one Zoom call and then one live stream with Asaf from Pershing Square Law Firm, who's an EDD attorney. For those of you that are going through the appeals process, they're really great, and a lot of my subscribers have really liked them. They give a free consultation. So if you call into Pershing Square Law Firm, let them know that you have questions regarding your appeal. They'll give you a free consultation and answer some of your questions for free because they provide this free consultation. So they're really great to contact if you need help. But what I'm getting at is that he and I had a long Zoom call. I interviewed him. He provided lots of information to me. He is the one that has stated the payment or confirmed recently these percentages for a false statement penalty, and then there's interest. So if you have to undergo an appeals process, you are issued an overpayment. What Asaf stated in one of my videos is that you should always file the appeal, even if If you're issued an overpayment, you should always file an appeal for it, because even if you agree with the overpayment, you know that you were overpaid, you can appeal the false statement penalty, which is this 30% additional penalty. False statement penalty refers to you providing some sort of statement or information that led to you then being paid too much. So if you, for example, stated that you earned more in self-employment than you actually did, or you actually claimed on your taxes, etc., that would be a false statement. But that's another thing that you should try to appeal. So the 30% is not outdated. That is the actual amount. Okay, Javier the Great at 740. What happens if I haven't worked at all since the lockdowns? How much would I need to pay on my tax returns? Still currently unemployed and surviving on my benefits. Okay, so taxes are unique to your own individual scenario, because unemployment is not earned income. So it won't count towards an earned income tax credit, but it is income, and it is included in your AGI, your adjusted gross income. So you're going to receive a 1099-G from the EDD. You have to then enter that into your tax return, or have your tax preparer enter it in. Now, I have the deductions right here. On your tax return, let me find the right one. On your tax return, you are going to qualify for what's known as the standard. Let me give the disclaimer. Ginny Silver is not a CPA, tax preparer. This is not financial advice. Random person on the internet compiling info. So ask your CPA or tax preparer. There it is. Okay, so if you are filing your taxes, everyone is going to have their standard deduction. For tax year 2021, if you're single, you're going to have a deduction of $12,550. If you're married filing jointly, you're going to have a deduction of $25,100. Married filing separately, $12,550. If you're head of household, your deduction will be $18,800. So in addition to that deduction, which is amount that's not going to be taxable from your AGI, are your tax brackets. There are different tax brackets depending on how much you earn. And for each amount more that you earn, it bumps you up into the next tax bracket for the remaining amount. So tax brackets are confusing, complicated. But what I'm getting at here is that unemployment benefits, if you were paid unemployment benefits and on your biweekly certifications, you checked the little box that said, yes, withhold federal income taxes, then the EDD withheld and paid to the IRS 10% for you. They did that for your weekly benefit award amount, but not for the $300 boost. That means that from January through September, the times in which that $300 boost was paid in tax year 2021, you still owe federal income taxes on that boost amount. If you did not check the federal withholding box, then you owe tax on the entire amount. Now, how much tax is it going to be? It depends on your deductions on your tax return, meaning which amount is not going to be taxable out of your AGI, and your tax bracket, how much you actually earned. So it can be anywhere starting from 10% on up. If you're a low income earner, it's going to be that lower 10% income tax bracket. All right, Sunshine 0601 740. I'm going to have to jump ahead in the questions a little bit, I think. I submitted my documents on 11/15 and haven't heard anything yet. See, some people got responses back from EDD who sent their documents in after me. Yes, that is true. I, too, sent my documents in, like on the first day they were requested. The EDD has not completed the process, and my contact at the EDD states that it's going to take a while, was the response I got. Okay, Michael Hill, 741. COVID cough. Okay, I didn't write my company name in the given area on the Schedule C, as the Schedule C stated that that was optional to do that. Do you think that could cause a problem? So the problem that is caused with tax documents and with business documents is when they don't show your personal name, your first and last legal name. The reason is because EDD has no clue who your business is registered to unless it shows it on the document. And they don't care about your business name. They care about your personal name, your first and last legal name. So that's not actually a problem with getting this document verified because the EDD is looking to see your personal legal first and last name tied to your document. So you are good in that regard. Scrolling down, Jennifer, you're very welcome. You skipped my question. I'm doing lots of questions. I've been waiting and skipped my question. Lovely, I got your question. Maddie, help. Lovely, I already got your question. That's Hattie. That is Raina. Hi, Jenny. Hi, Raina. I uploaded my documents, spoke to Tier 2, who was helpful and switched my payments to paid, but didn't get approved letters. You didn't get an approval letter. Okay, good. I'm glad that they switched it to paid. Be on the lookout for the approval letter and make sure that you've checked in UI Online and it does actually say paid. Just double check everything. Make sure that it actually says it on UI Online. I think you've already done that. But I would hate for anyone to miss the appeal deadline because the customer service rep said that they did it and then you didn't double check in UI Online. So just please make sure that you double check for yourself to make sure it's done. And if it is, then great. All right, Jennifer at 7:48. What if we don't send any documentation and we get the bill? What would be the next step? First off, please send documentation. Please don't ignore it. Please send in documentation. But if you didn't, you get an overpayment, you get a disqualified notice first. Then you're a letter of determination stating that they have determined that you were not eligible for benefits. Next, you're going to get an overpayment notice. And some individuals may receive a separate notice stating that they made a false statement if that applies to your scenario. You need to then appeal the documents that you receive. So you're going to appeal the overpayment and appeal the false statement penalty if that applies to you as well. Appeal both documents is the advice that Pershing Square Law Firm gave on my channel. Appeal both documents. Don't just send in one appeal form because you received two. Send in both. So send in that appeal. Next, you are going to have to undergo a hearing with a judge on the EDD appeals board. So you're going to tell them your case, provide documentation, and then they're going to decide either you were eligible or you were not. Okay, scrolling down. I'm going to be on for 15 more minutes and then I will be all done. Arthur at 7:49. My appeal hearing was January 7th, about 2 weeks ago. How long to receive the results and payment starts? If your appeal hearing was 2 weeks ago, the appeals process in total can take anywhere from 6 to 8 months. There is no specific time frame on exactly when that's going to finalize. After you have your hearing and you receive a decision, then they have to then send that decision back to the EDD because the Board of Appeals operates separately. Once that decision goes back to the EDD is unfortunately very slow in applying it to your claim. So I do not have, and there is not a defined time frame for when you will receive the results of that decision. Melrose, thank you. All right, Victor Banks, I certified for benefits on 16th and have yet to be paid. What seems to be the problem? The 16th is just a couple days ago. Let's see, it's on now the 19th, so you just certified. If this is your first time certifying for benefits, you have never received benefits before, then the first time you certify, you're going to certify, and then your claim is going to be stuck in pending for up to 3 weeks after that. You will not receive payment for up to 3 weeks until the EDD has undergone what's called UISD review, which means that they send out your claim to have additional fraud checks performed on it. This is done through a third-party company. There's no way to speed it up. So if it's your first time certifying for benefits, you're going to be waiting for an additional 3 weeks. And then once it says paid, then they're going to disperse your B of A debit card to you. And that takes another up to 10 days. So it is a long wait. Now, if you have already received payments on your claim, it's not a new claim, then it can take a couple business days for you to be able to receive that. And now what was it, 17th, Monday was a holiday. It was Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So banks were closed for that. So there's obviously going to be a little delay in terms of bank processing times with that holiday. So it's due to one of those two things, most likely. Okay, Just Mail. What is the time frame to get an appeal? Unfortunately, appeals can take anywhere from a couple months all the way up to 8 months. There is no set time frame. There is no deadline for it, etc. They all vary and they can take quite a long time. Okay, Debbie Hall. I'm on Speedo tonight. Speedo is a male swimwear. I can tell you're excited. I'm not excited, but I don't know what I am. Can we get a regular live schedule occurring? I'm always spread real thin with all the different things that I do in my business. I'll try to get a regular live back, but at this time, I'm still a little here and there. Paul Perez, heard your loud neck crack blew out my TV. That was probably a while ago in this stream. And it was unintentional, and I just kind of realized I did it just now. Okay. FK at 7:50. If they requested documentation verifying your employment situation between 1/1/2019 and 2/2/2020, would self-employed 2019 taxes suffice? Yes. What inside the 2019 taxes would they be looking for? So in your taxes, when you're self-employed, your self-employment income is claimed on what's called a Schedule C. So your Schedule C goes through your name, your business's name, your gross earnings minus your deductions that you claim on the following worksheet, etc. So Schedule C is a specific document that they're looking for in that tax return. Yes, you can send in the entire tax return, or you can send in just the Schedule C, and either is good. Now, if you are denied, then it is an error on the part of the EDD, because if you had self-employment income claimed on your taxes, you send in the proper year, then it should be approved, but the EDD is making mistakes. So if it is not approved, call in, talk to a Tier 2 representative, and they should be able to fix it over the phone. Okay, drink of my tea. When is my symptoms gonna go away? You guys, we've been in our house for like 3 weeks, which is okay. But we have little kids and I just want to take them out. All right. Jesse James, 751. I think they make all this stuff complicated on purpose so people won't bother filing for it. It is very complicated. Arthur, my UI was disqualified February 2021, and my appeal was from end of August. My hearing, January 7th. Okay. I don't have timeframes on appeals. Unfortunately, there is no set timeframe on it. Documents accepted for Sean. I'm glad to hear that. Peace and namaste at 7:52. If you have all your EDD money in the bank, but no income coming in and you are not working, will you still qualify for CalFresh, or will you be denied because you have so much in the bank? I do not know the restrictions for being approved for CalFresh. So you do need to seek out that information on CalFresh's page. I'm sorry, I don't know that. Okay, scrolling down. Adi, you're very welcome. Angry at 7:52. Hey, Jenny, I'm freelance videographer who is going to send in contracts from 2019 and 2020, tax returns from 2000, okay, an affidavit and an email of canceled jobs. Will this be enough? Yes, it will. Tax returns, you're good. Send in your tax returns for the right years and you are all set as long as you claim that self-employment income. Okay, Josh, why? Okay, I already read that one earlier. Thank you for your feedback. Comfy Delights at 7:53. They rejected my 1040 Schedule C for self-employment, but requested an affidavit letter of employment. Can you give a sample structure of what that would look like. I am not advising on that because I don't want to be the reason why your letter is rejected. I'm not going to tell you exactly how to lay out an affidavit. Affidavits are being rejected very frequently because they are not a document that passes through the government. They're not a tax return. They're not a business license, etc. So they're kind of risky to send in. But someone who does have a good video on what to put in an affidavit is Shelly's Millions. And I will pull the link real quick so that I can link you to it, because you can watch that on her channel and get that info there since I'm not sharing that. Okay, I'm gonna pull it up real quick. There it is. Copy the link. Thank you for waiting. Paste the link. Okay, so watch that video of Shelly's, and that will help you out. Okay, scrolling down. Debbie Hall, Shelly announced a meetup with you coming soon. When? Where? Will there be some video on this? Yes. So I had to cancel due to the Rona. I had to cancel it. Had to reschedule it. But yeah, so we will be doing streaming a live stream together. Hopefully next Wednesday, if I can get a clear COVID test, on the same couch sitting together. She's coming to see me because she hired me for some business coaching, and I've been working with her on several projects. So she's coming into town, and I'm doing some things with her which are exciting and fun for her brand and for her business. But we plan on doing a live stream on it, and I will probably do a vlog on the whole thing. Okay, you're very welcome. All right, Sana, after PUA ended, I still needed help due to no employment. They had me answer questions about details of what my self-employment is. Okay, so PUA ended, I needed help. So you can't get any additional unemployment benefits if you were self-employed. Even if they interviewed you and asked you questions, benefits for self-employed have ended. There's no additional unemployment benefits related to the pandemic at this time. So unfortunately, no, you will not receive additional benefits. Okay, Bismarck T at 756. I did not earn over $400 in 2018, and my document range is from 2019 to 2020. Okay, shoot, I don't remember what question you were asking. I'm certain that it's about work history verification, though. So if you were not required to file a tax return because you did not meet that income threshold, then there are other documents that you can provide. And I'm answering your question generally because I don't remember the original question. So I got so many. So other things that you can provide are going to be, number one, try to provide actual government-related documents, such as a business license, so a business tax certificate, otherwise known as a business license. If you filed a fictitious business name statement, otherwise known as a DBA, why does everything have to have two names? If you have an EIN number, if you have a seller's permit, those are the things that you want to try for first. After that, secondary things that you can send in, which should also be approved, but are a little riskier because they're documents you make, are going to be contracts, invoices, any proof that you are actually doing business, such as your website, correspondence with clients or customers, if you have payment processing systems, if you have bank deposits, etc. Then you can send in those informations, send in those informations, and then you can also send in an affidavit explaining them. And then what else? That's it. Scrolling down. Okay, Comfy Delights. Hold on. Okay, Hattie, am I good? I think you said never mind. Talking to my moderator. I think I'm okay. All right, Comfy Delights. I'll get my chat back here. I don't have a 1099 due to not enough income. What if your employer cannot provide an affidavit letter of employment due to COVID, leaving them unable to speak and verify my employment? You would not need, okay, thank you. You would not need them to speak to provide a letter. I'm a little confused. Okay, and you're also talking about 1099, but you're talking about an employer. There's differences. So if you are someone who is employed, you have an employer, you're their employee, then you're going to have a W-2 from that employer. That's the tax form that they're going to send to you. That would be on your income taxes. But if you're an independent contractor, you're not their employee, but you are providing services or work for them as your own individual, then they're going to provide you a 1099 if you earned $600 or more from them within that last tax year. So if you did not earn $600, then they won't provide you a tax form. And you're not a W-2 employee, so you won't have that tax form. Now, what documentation can you send in? Well, you're required to claim it on your income taxes if you earned $400 or more. So you wouldn't receive the 1099, but you still have to file income taxes on it yourself without that extra tax form. So if you're in that camp, then send in your tax return, which would have that amount on it. If you earned even less than that and you weren't required to file income taxes, then you say they can't speak. You're going to email them, you're going to text them if they're well enough, and then they will provide that information to you. They can write a letter with their business name and information on it, all their tax info, etc. As a business, they can sign it, date it, and then provide that. If they are very unwell and they're not able to help you because they are very sick, then you are going to provide correspondence with that person previously. So look for old emails, look for old text messages. You're then going to take any payments that you received from that person when you deposited them in the bank and provide those copies. You can also generate invoices yourself as a contractor for the jobs that you did for that person and provide those as well to the EDD. And then also provide a signed affidavit from yourself. Okay, drinking this tea. I'm almost out of tea, which means I'm almost out of a live stream. Because then the voice will truly be gone. Okay. All right, scrolling down. I'm gonna, let's see. That one, I did that one. Kenneth Sinclair, something? 806, Kenneth. Have you heard any rumors about Congress passing a law making $10,000 on EDD tax exempt for 2021 like they did for 2020? No, there's currently no talks. Nothing is proposed. Nothing is in the works. There is no unemployment in any stimulus bill in the works right now like there was last year. So no, at this point in time, it is not going to be any tax relief on the unemployment benefits. Could it change in the future? If something is proposed and passed, then it could potentially change, but there's nothing in the works right now or being talked about. So no, not at this time. Okay, so that one, just mail. If I got a waiver and a letter only account for some of the waiver, I only got an overpayment letter. Losing it, you guys. I only have an overpayment letter for a lower amount. Do I owe only the overpayment that I received in the letter? Yes. If you receive an overpayment letter, they're going to tell you the amount that was paid over what you should have earned. It may not be all of your benefits. It will just be the amount that you should not have received. Now, that is what you're going to owe. You can appeal that because if you appeal it, you might be appealing a false statement penalty as well as the actual overpayment. So what Asaf Liktosh from Pershing Square Law Firm told me in a Zoom call, which is on my channel, is that you should appeal it anyway, even if you agree with the overpayment, in hopes of waiving that false statement penalty. Wanda Davis, how are you today? Thank you. I'm doing all right. I'm still a little bit sick, but I'm good. Thank you, Wanda. I hope you're well. All right, Pete Reyes at 813. I have filed for EDD PUA and never had a California ID until recently. I was disqualified for not providing ID docs, but were paid out of my PUA 167 weekly. What can I do to get out of repaying back my benefits? you were disqualified because you didn't provide ID docs. If you can't identify yourself, then you're not going to be qualified to receive those benefits. You are going to have to pay them back. Now, there are other ways to identify yourself other than a California ID, such as passport, birth certificate, etc. So you're going to need to appeal the overpayment notice. So file the appeal that came with it. You have 30 days to do that, so do it quickly. And then you're going to have a hearing in front of a judge, and then you'll go from there. They'll look at your documentation and see if you do in fact qualify or not. If you need help, then you can contact Pershing Square Law Firm for a consultation, and they can help to advise you. I see that it's 8:30. Patty, my moderator, if you need to go, it's okay to go. And if you want to stay, it's okay to stay. Either way is good. Okay. One sec. Let's see. I'm gonna pass out giant teacup. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, you guys. So I am gonna be on here for maybe another 5 or 10 minutes. I'll try to get a couple more questions, but I am going to have to skip just a little bit around and get just a handful left before I'm all done and before my camera battery dies. All right, Victor. Okay, thank you very much. This is not my first time receiving benefits. Okay, if it's not your first time receiving benefits, it's probably due to the holiday. If it goes to be any more than 2 more days, check your status in your payments. If your payments are marked as pending, then contact your assembly member. Hattie, if she's still here, is going to drop the link in the chat box on how to locate your assembly member. Let them know that you are stuck in pending, but you have to be pending for over 2 weeks. If you're pending for over 2 weeks, then they can help the EDD to issue you what's called a conditional payment, which means that the EDD pays you while you're stuck in pending until they are able to clear whatever the problem is. In most cases, they will need to do an interview with you to actually clear that pending status, but the conditional payment will allow them to pay you in the interim while you wait for the interview. Okay. Okay, I doesn't have anywhere to be. Stay until the end. Thank you. I appreciate it. But I also know that it's super boring. Okay. Did that one. Is Mark T. Sorry, Jenny. I meant I made less than $400 in 2019. Do I need to just file a tax return for that to show 2019 income? You can if you want to. You don't have to have earned $400 to file an income tax return. So you can if you want to, but you shouldn't need to. It depends what documentation you have and if it is approved or denied. If your documentation that you send in because you don't have a tax return is rejected, such as, let's say they're rejecting a signed affidavit. Let's say they're rejecting, what else? The affidavit is really the one that's going to be rejected, that they just plain won't accept in many cases because it's something you created yourself and it's a statement without any actual proof. If you're providing invoices, contracts, things like that, then they should approve those. They have stated that those are fine as long as it is tied to your first and last legal name, and not just a business name. So in some cases, they're rejecting business documents that should have been approved because those business documents only state your business name. For example, my photography business is Retrospect Images LLC, but I'm Ginny Silver. Unemployment benefits aren't going to recognize Retrospect Images LLC as having anything to do with me. So if I sent in only my contracts or my invoices or even my bookkeeping statement, my bookkeepers write Retrospect Images LLC on the top of my profit and loss statement. My name isn't on there. They would reject that because it's not tied to my first and last name. So make sure that it's not just a business name on there. Make sure your documents also have your first and last name. That's a big reason why many are getting things rejected in that scenario. So do you have to file an income tax return to get approved? Not necessarily, but if you're submitting documents that are being rejected and that aren't going to be approved, then you can file an old income tax return retroactively and submit that. So it depends. Okay. David, thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, did that. Okay, you're very welcome. Thank you. Okay, scrolling down. Okay, thank you, Paul. Thank you, peace and namaste. Okay, did I get to the end of the questions? Is that probably not? I'm probably gonna have a whole bunch more pop up when I get to the bottom of this. Jesse James, thank you for all you do. You're very welcome. Thank you. Oh, what's happening in that picture on my screen? Ms. MS. Sam, I will submit 2019 1040. Should I add my business license? That expired. 2019 1040, that's your tax return. That's going to have your Schedule C on it. You should not need to submit anything else. But if your business license was active during the time that you're trying to prove, then yes, you can submit that as well. If it's expired by 2019, they don't want to see expired documents if they don't pertain to the year that they're looking for. So it depends on when it expired. MS, can I submit a copy of an expired business license? Okay, so I already addressed that. If it was active for the year that they're looking for, then yes. But if it had expired, let's say you need to provide 2019 documents and your business license expired in 2017, they don't care about an expired business license. You can send it in, but I do not think that that would be approved. Okay, what? Okay, did that one. Thank you, Hattie, for sharing that. Okay, Retro Thunder, 831. I just submitted my 1040 Schedule C. I am a barber, but I still be overpaid. Or would I have to pay back? Or is it to pay back? What am I okay? Let me try again. I submitted my 1040 Schedule C and you're a barber, okay? And you're still overpaid. So you're only going to have to pay back if you, in fact, do not qualify for benefits. If you have a Schedule C, you submitted that Schedule C, was it for the proper year that the EDD is asking for? If they gave you a date range that spans 2 years, they have now further defined their requirements that you must include a tax return or documents from the year prior to your unemployment claim. So maybe it was rejected because you did not include the year prior to your unemployment claim. So in that case, you're going to need to submit additional documents. But what I want you to do is call into the EDD, ask to speak to a Tier 2 representative, and then ask them why your documents were rejected. And if you can submit more documents over the phone, or perhaps it was an error, can you ask them to check it again? Most likely, you're going to be fine because you submitted a Schedule C. You were self-employed. You do have documentation. So I think it's an error. Okay. Debbie Hall, 831. Thank you, Debbie. Standing by for Jenny Shelley live together, maybe next Wednesday. We're hoping on next Wednesday. As long as I'm good with COVID, then we're good. Our plan is next Wednesday, but it'll probably be later in the evening, I'm guessing, because I'm going to do some portraits for her earlier. Okay, scrolling down. Scrolling back up. Minneapolis, Luke at 834. Can I call EDD and set up a payment plan because I worked and collected EDD? I want to set it up before they catch it. Catch what? Oh, I see. You were working and collecting unemployment benefits. So I think what you're trying to say is that you did not claim your income from your work while you were collecting unemployment benefits. Yes, you are going to have to pay those benefits back that you were not entitled to receive. So can you call them? Yes. Call EDD. Let them know that you made a mistake, that you did not claim some of the work that you did. And then they're going to collect information from you. They're going to issue you an overpayment notice, and then you're going to have to pay that back. So yes, they will set you up on a payment plan, but I would contact them and do it yourself because they will find it eventually. I know you're trying to do the right thing and take initiative on that. Make sure that you do it yourself before they get that tax reporting from your W-2 job, because EDD does have access to those tax forms. They do cross-reference them, and they will find that on their own. So do it quickly. Okay. Okay, Aljane at 8:36. Never worked because I was full-time student abroad. Was planning to be self-employed and filed unemployment. They disqualified my affidavit. How should I appeal? I only worked during PUA here and there. You're going to need to prove with documentation that you were trying to be self-employed. The problem with an affidavit is that it's a statement that anyone could make, even if they didn't have intention of actually being self-employed. You have to show that you had plans, not just that you were dreaming of it or that it was something in the far off future, that you actually were trying to put a plan into action. The pandemic had to actually have disrupted your income. So you're going to need to provide documentation on whatever it was that you were trying to do. What were you trying to do specifically? What is the self-employment that you were trying to pursue? If you were someone that was setting up an online presence, if you're going to do a store, if you're going to be a service-based business, if you're setting up a website, if you're setting up social media, if you were setting up any sort of marketing materials, if you had a logo created, if you set up a business domain and hosting, a .com, if you were creating a business email, if you were researching, if you were educating yourself in any way, if you did any sort of course or certification program, if you purchased supplies, there's a lot of different things that you could have been doing to build your business, in addition to taking out a business license, a seller's permit, an EIN number, etc. There's a lot of different ways that you can provide documentation that is more substantial than an affidavit. So try to think of what you can do in order to prove that. And then you're going to have to file an appeal, have a hearing with a judge, and show that documentation. Okay, Comfy Delights, you're very welcome. Thank you. Okay, scrolling down, peace and namaste. If I'm self-employed, do I need an EIN number, business PIC, or any other official documents to file a tax return? You're asking specifically about filing a tax return. So if you're self-employed and you earn $400 or more, you're going to be required to file that income in a tax return. If you have not filed any additional registration for your business, then you are defaulted to what's known as a sole proprietor. Sole proprietor means that you and your business are one and the same. You are taxed the same on the same tax return, and you do not have a like an LLC registered or anything like that. So you're sole proprietor by default. You do not need an EIN number. You do not need a fictitious business name. Your business will be logged in your taxes as your first and last legal name. If you have registered a separate business name through what's known as a fictitious business name statement, which is also sometimes called a DBA, doing business as, then that's a separate registration that you have to actually do with your county. So you will be defaulted to your first and last legal name on your taxes, and you'll be taxed as a sole proprietor. So no, you do not need any other official documents to file that tax return. It's just going to be your first and last legal name and then the income that you earned. Now, aside from that, that's just to file your taxes. To conduct business, it's different, right? Because you have to file your taxes and pay money. If you pay your money, then you're pretty much good. But to conduct business, which is separate from the IRS, you do need some additional things. If you're conducting a business, you're most likely going to need a business license, a business tax certificate. That is something that you have to file with your county. And then you may need other documents as well, depending on what industry you're in. So you're going to go to calgold. I think it's com. Is it .com? Let me check. What you can do is, and I'll get off my self-employed tangent in a sec, calgold.ca.gov. I'm going to link this in the chat box. You are going to go to this website. You're going to type in your location and your industry for whatever you're doing for self-employment, and it'll tell you if you need to have certain permits, fees, etc. Okay. All right, 5 more minutes and then I'll be all done. All right, got that. Jesse James, hope you feel better. Thank you. I appreciate that. Am I live again tomorrow? No, I am not live tomorrow. Tomorrow is Thursday. I will not be doing a live stream. If I'm self-employed, do I need an EIN number, business license, or any other official docs? Okay, I already answered that one. Minneapolis Luke, you're very welcome. Retro Thunder, I didn't get an error. I mean, I just submitted it Sunday. Will it be okay with 1040 Schedule C for the year? They told me to submit. Sorry for the type. Okay, I'm not sure what you're asking. I'm really sorry. You'll have to clarify in a full sentence. Okay, thank you. I only became to be a door dasher. Okay. And also a dog sitter a week right after I filed unemployment. Those are the only documents. Okay. So if your plan was to do DoorDash, did you create an account with DoorDash before you claimed unemployment benefits? Did you research it in any way? Did you email them? Did you create a login and account? Did you download it? Try to prove some sort of information about that. That's going to be tough to prove if you didn't actually start that to prove that intention. So anything that you can compile regarding researching those things, regarding correspondence back and forth with those companies, regarding if you downloaded the app and put it on, and can you show that you did that? But you might have to have a hearing in front of a judge and then provide that information there, and then the judge will decide. Okay, I'm almost at the end of the questions, which is great because usually I don't get to the end. 1776. I received unemployment but was not aware that I could have received PUA extra 100 as a realtor. No. So no. Oh, you're talking about the MEUC boost. Okay. So the MEUC boost is a mixed earners unemployment compensation. This was a solution to a problem that came about because some individuals were mixed earners. Some individuals earned both self-employment income and W-2 employee income. The problem here is that for individuals that earned a small amount of W-2 income, like let's say that they were an employee for 1 month or 2 weeks, something very brief, but they maybe had $40,000 worth of self-employed income. As long as they had $1,400 in unemployment income, they were defaulted to UI. That $40,000 was completely ignored, and then they were given a very small weekly benefit award amount. So the mixed earners boost was an additional $100 weekly boost for a period of time. You had to apply for it. And you had to be a UI earner that also had self-employed income prior to the pandemic. So you received unemployment. You weren't aware that you could have received the extra 100. The EDD issued out notifications and invitations to apply for the MEUC boost to individuals that listed on their application that they had W-2 earnings and self-employment. If you did not list your self-employment income on your application, then you would not have received an invitation to apply for that. So can you apply for it retroactively? The deadline has already passed. You can contact your assembly member or the EDD and try to just double check that you can't apply, but the deadline has passed, unfortunately. Okay, mixed earner, full-time carpenter. So is it too late to go back and get it? Yeah, the deadline did pass, but once again, you can try and see if you were able to contact EDD, contact your assembly member, but I don't think that it's going to be successful because that deadline did pass. Okay, you guys, I am all done for the night. Thank you for putting up with my coughing voice, my large bucket of tea. I will see you guys next time. I do believe that I will be posting a live stream for next Wednesday evening. That will be a joint live stream with Shelly's Millions and myself in person together, but I have to test negative for COVID for that to happen. Yeah, so be on the lookout for that. Hope my COVID goes away. Okay, you guys, I'll see you next time. I have to turn it off over here.